Hello and welcome to Thought for the Day from St Peter's, Bexhill. You may have heard about other Gospels, the so-called lost Gospels or hidden Gospels from outside the Bible. Gospels of Judas, Thomas, Mary Magdalene. When they are mentioned, there's always talk about conspiracies and fake news, sinister control and dark secrets. Of course, the truth is not nearly as mysterious. It took several centuries for the New Testament to take the shape we know today. Very intelligent, holy and sincere people, honestly seeking the truth, worked through prayer, debate and the guidance of God. And so, certain books were included and others left out. There was and is nothing secret about this. It is all recorded. Other books are available. There was no great conspiracy, just the desire to do the right thing. The books that were included in the New Testament were all written within a few decades of the events they're describing. The ones rejected were all written later, in most cases much later, and often include ideas and stories that reflect the thinking of their writers wandering off the point, sometimes to quite an alarming degree. This was the reason they were rejected. I think people get confused by them being called Gospels and their names, which seem to imply they were first-hand accounts of Judas, Thomas, Mary, etc. They weren't. And they are, quite simply, wrong. That may be an old-fashioned idea that something can be wrong, but it strikes me as a very good reason to leave them out. And the four Gospels we end up with in the Bible give us a lot of information, but unfortunately very little detail about something we would like to know, such as Jesus' childhood. John and Mark don't mention it at all in their Gospels. Matthew jumps straight from the Christmas story to the baptism of the young man, and Luke has just one story, the boy Jesus getting lost and found in the temple in Jerusalem. Yet there must have been other stories from his childhood. There must have been many times when Jesus and his parents talked and tried to make sense of the strange events surrounding his birth. And yet the Gospels are not interested in these things. Maybe it was a social thing. Remember that children were not considered important at that time. They had no legal rights and weren't even considered much in the way of people until they were grown up. But maybe it's more to do with the drivenness of all four Gospels. They want to tell a story that leads right from the very beginning towards the cross and the resurrection and beyond. And they want to get on with it. And they tell their stories as best they can, even when the storytellers do not fully understand what is going on. They even, in their desire to be honest, include things that might seem to go against their message at times. The people who like to write books about conspiracy theories really can't cope with people who deal so honestly with the truth. And John's Gospel starts with the wonderful reflection on the Word, in the beginning, which we hear every Christmas and at other times in the year. St. John reflects on Jesus being God and being with God right from the very beginning. He quite deliberately echoes the beginning of the whole Bible back in Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And then he explains more of what that means now that we know about Jesus. When we came to use this reading in Time for God's Christmas Helping, we looked at modern translations, but decided that no, we really had to go back to the King James, to the Authorized. It is just so amazing. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us. And we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. A prayer of Edmund of Abingdon from the 11th century. Lord, since you exist, we exist. By our existence, we honour you. Lord, through your power, all things were made. Through your wisdom, all things are governed. Through your grace, all things are sustained. Give us power to serve you, wisdom to discern your laws, and grace to obey those at all times. Amen.